After the events of Season 4, the fate of the world still hangs in the balance, with open rifts between the town of Hawkins and the Upside Down, with no clear idea of where, when, or how the evil overlord Vecna will strike next. And with injured friends and lost friends along the way, Eleven, Will, Mike, Lucas, and Dustin, and their tight-knit circle of friends and family, must stage one last stand to protect the world from destruction, as creators and directors, the Duffer Brothers, take us back into their 1980s world for the 5th and final season of Stranger Things.
At long last, we can begin.
There's no time.
Really starting to lose it. Being stuck in here, no end in sight. Maybe tonight is our break. We find Vecna, we end this once and for all, together.
When Netflix executive Ted Sarandos first met twin brothers Matt and Ross Duffer, who presented him with their script and outlandish pitch for the Stranger Things story, it was a leap of faith that many others refused to take, but it ended up propelling Netflix to unrivaled success with one of their most popular franchises to date. Now, with the final season coming to screens across the world, reflecting back on a show that has evolved and expanded so much over the years has been a remarkable achievement, but also a huge responsibility for the Duffer Brothers.
Peter De Silva, Arise Play, Nigeria.
Hey.
My first question is for Matt.
Yeah.
As we're now in the swan song of Stranger Things, but just looking back over the whole series, there was a tonal shift roughly around season 3 where things got slightly darker and then progressively so since then. And then now looking at season 5 next to season 1, the contrast is striking. Was it always your intention to get progressively deeper and darker, or was that just an organic evolutionary consequence because you evolved creatively with the show?
It's not something we sat around talking about too much. The main thing that was important to us was that each season felt unique and different than the one that came before it. And maybe that's because Ross and I grew up mostly watching movies and not a lot of television. So it was easier for us to think of each season as a large movie. And the sequels that we loved growing up, if you can talk about T2 or Aliens, they evolved and grew and each sequel felt like it very much existed within that world of that story, but it felt different and offered something new. So that was really the goal with each season is, hey, let's do something else. I mean, 2 definitely was darker, I think, than season 1. And then 3 is gory, but it's actually a little bit more silly and fun. And then, 4, we went back to go dark. I mean, part of the reason it got really much darker in the last couple seasons is because our kids were no longer kids and they were transitioning to high school. And, that to us, at least to us and to a lot of our writers, that was, as far as growing up, the most challenging years of our lives. It's when you can really lose yourself, when things feel very real, where you can... where you're struggling more than anything. So that's really why we thought that was the right time to introduce Vecna.
And for Ross, when you've created something, a popular franchise with a very avid fan base like Stranger Things, the potency of anticipation going into a finale is fever pitch. And also, like, because there's such an expectation with fans for you to get it right, if it isn't everything they expect, it can go very ugly very quickly and at a very global level. Case in point, season 8 of Game of Thrones. So does something like that serve as a cautionary tale for you going into the end of this franchise with such a big fan base?
Yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking. I think, us and our writers, we looked at the ending of a lot of long-running shows, and as you say, they get it, wrong or upset fans more often than they do it right. But what we were really looking at is not the ones that fans didn't like. We were looking at the ones that we thought really stuck the landing, whether it's 6 Feet Under or Friday Night Lights or Breaking Bad, and just sort of analyzing why those worked for fans. And I think that gave us some comfort. Not that because really what connected all of those is that those shows were just really true to themselves at the end of the day. The endings felt inevitable and right. And so that's ultimately what we were trying to do with this show. And one thing that gave us more comfort, too, is that we've known for a very long time what the last 10 minutes of the show was. We didn't know what the season 5 was going to be, but we knew those last 10 minutes. And I think that gave us our North Star, so to speak, because we knew, like, we could do 10 hours of entertainment and you slip up in the last 10 minutes, no one would ever forgive us. So we felt comfortable knowing that we had a destination to head to.
Well, congratulations on a brilliant piece of work, and thank you for talking with us.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This isn't like one of your campaigns. You don't get to write the ending. Not this time.
Season 5 of Stranger Things is truly a full circle moment for actor Noah Schnapp, who plays Will Byers, the young boy who started it all with his abduction to the Upside Down in Season 1. Now the story brings everything back to its origin, as Will gets to settle things once and for all, facing off against the terrifying Vecna, played by actor Jamie Campbell Bower, whose role had the unique challenge of testing him as a character and also adaptive actor with the use of extensive prosthetic makeup. Now he gets to also showcase more of a traditional acting performance without it.
My first question is for Noah.
Hello.
This whole wild and wonderful ride of Stranger Things began with your character Will, and here in season 5 we see it's come to a conclusion through your character Will as well. Did having that full circle quality to this narrative of Will's story help you find closure as you bid farewell to the role?
Oh, absolutely. I think it was especially exciting in this new season because throughout most of the story, Will is such a victim and suffering so much. And don't worry, that continues in this new season. But at least I got to approach it with a new maturation and he's stronger in his voice and in his feelings, and how that kind of comes to be, we'll see. But it was a fun challenge to rise up to.
And Jamie, we get in season 5 to see you play Vecna even more as yourself outside of the prosthesis and makeup. So purely from a creative perspective as an actor, what did it mean to you to be able to flex your muscle in that traditional way and also provide more three-dimensionality to this iconic villain of the franchise?
It's a hard question to answer without giving too much away. I felt like coming in for this season, this new this coming back to Henry is, it's another level to him almost. So that was challenging for sure, because I was so used to sort of presenting the pain of who he was from season 4 in his childhood experience. So to kind of almost feel like I had to re-look at him in a certain way was really interesting for me. Certainly terrifying at times. But yeah, creatively, it was very fulfilling because it allowed me to, I suppose, like expand my horizons a little bit more in terms of what I was thinking about and all my references. Yeah.
He's planning to end our world. And he's not gonna stop until we're drained of every last ounce of suffering.
With the nostalgic 80s energy of Stranger Things, the heart of the series has always been the band of boys and their defiantly and entertainingly adventurous spirits. Finn Wolfhard, Caleb McLaughlin, and Gaten Matarazzo, playing the lovable Mike, Lucas, and Dustin, found their way into the hearts of millions as just little children. But now in Season 5 they are young adults, defending their town and indeed the world from impending doom. It has been a journey for the young actors that has taken them from boys to men and from obscurity to stardom.
My first question is for Caleb. So over the years, you have grown and matured through your adolescence with this character of Lucas. And now his story and the story of the series is coming to a close. Do you feel satisfied with the conclusion, or does any part of you feel that potentially in the future there might be more story to tell?
Yeah, I think Lucas's story is a wonderful story, and I'm very satisfied with his how can I say this? His ending, right? And of course, I feel like we can go into depth of his character in the past seasons, of just like how he's grown. And from season 1, we see him as this boisterous, skeptical, like passionate character, loyal to his friends. And he is still the same way, but we capture in this new season with this stoic, resilient sensibility that is a little bit quiet. It's like a quiet storm in a way. And you see his growth. You see all of his experiences like put into like a ball. And for me, as the actor, I see Lucas as the soldier that has taken like all the tools from his past and is gonna use that for any battle that is to come. Yeah.
And for Finn, all the young characters in this series, they get to explore action, adventure, comedy, suspense, but you have the added layer of the romantic storyline with the lead character played by Millie. Did that make it more interesting for you to play the role of Mike as a young actor?
Definitely, yeah. I'm really glad that I was able to have those scenes, and I think Millie was always such a giving scene partner, especially in those moments, because I think we were both always on the same page of, how these characters are acting and how much they love each other. And so, I was really lucky to have that added layer, because it definitely made things for me, I learned kind of a new skill in a lot of ways. And I was kind of able, you're right in saying that, like, I was able to kind of, all of us were able to play with so many different genres and things. And, like, we're so lucky to be able to do that. And
for Gaten, there have been a lot of comparisons between Stranger Things and Goonies, and your character and the character of Data played by Ke Huy Quan.
Oh, yeah?
Because there's a special place that people have when they talk about your character, and from my childhood, that's how we talked about Data. Do you think that going forward into whatever you do next over the decades, you will always endeavor to protect and preserve Dustin the way Ke Huy Quan does with Data, because you know how much the fans care about him?
Oh, man. The way that Ke Huy Quan has gone about his career throughout his life has been so admirable, and the way that he talks about his early career and the roles that he's been a part of, and his contributions to such classics. Like he seems like he has such a positive energy and such an amazing approach to talking about it. It just seems like it really was like just like the greatest love of his life. Like it's just beautiful hearing him talk about it and his experiences there, and I could only hope to look back and feel the same exact way, which I assume I'm going to. I love this part in this character so much, and something I really do love so much is that I've always said that I'm playing a character that's tremendously smarter than I am, and it's really fun to do, and it's something I don't think I'll get an opportunity to do, because he's such a unique person and is gifted with such a very fun skill set like Data is, and it's always been a blast to play him. I love it very much. I understand and don't take for granted that it's an opportunity that won't come won't come ever again. It's a kind of it really is a once in a lifetime opportunity that I've always loved being a part of, and it's definitely one that I'm going to keep with me as I do more work going forward. I don't really think I'll be able to shake him for a while, maybe for better or for worse, but I do just hold it in my heart. It takes up a good chunk of it, and I know that it always will.
Well, never say never. I look forward to interviewing you for years to come. Congratulations to all of you on this.
Thank you very much.
We stay true to ourselves. Stay true to our friends.
Do it.
No matter the cost.
Executive producer Sean Levy is no stranger to big budget success, as the director behind hit movies including Free Guy, Deadpool and Wolverine, and Night at the Museum. But even he did not approach Stranger Things with any expectation that it would turn into the monster franchise it has become, spawning a merchandising world without limits. From games, to toys, to interactive experiences, to food and condiments, people want to live, breathe, and even eat Stranger Things. So it's safe to say that although the series might be ending, Stranger Things has definitely left its mark on the world.
And for Sean, as an executive producer, purely from a clinical business perspective, when you look at the broader ecosystem of Stranger Things as a franchise, it stretches as far as plays, immersive experiences, animated series. When the original source material, which is the driving force behind it, the series is coming to an end, do you think that that ecosystem can continue to function independently of its presence?
Well, I would start by saying that really we started out just wanting to make one thing well. So we didn't come into this going, well, we're going to launch a franchise. So the fact that it's evolved into one is like a miracle and a blessing. And yet our focus has always been just make this episode great, make this scene great. And it's sort of that piece by piece perfectionism that's earned us the privilege of now having a franchise, and as what we call the Mothership series, as it comes to an end, it feels like a rich world that Matt and Ross have created, and so there seem to be opportunities to extend the life of that storytelling world and franchise. But again, this was never a business play. Stranger Things was just this incredible script that Matt and Ross Duffer wrote, and all of us who said yes to it, we just did that because it was special. We didn't know if it would be successful, but we knew it could be special.
And just finally, Noah, because you're the youngest and all of you are young in this series, do you have any apprehension for what the road ahead will lie for you when you know the whole world knows you from this series?
I mean, of course, like it's exciting and it's nerve-wracking. It's all bittersweet, but I think a lot of people are quick to shy away from what they're known for, what makes them, what their breakout role is. But I think for the rest of my career, I'll carry this badge very proudly, and I'm a huge fan of the show outside of being a part of it, and I wear that proudly. Yeah, that doesn't scare me. That it follows me.
Well, congratulations. And I look forward to interviewing again on the next thing that becomes a big hit. Thank you all for talking with us.
Thanks
for your time.